Good afternoon, everybody. This is Miss T from the Children's Room of the Plainfield Public Library. Today, we're going to continue reading from this awesome book, Bravo! Poems from Amazing Hispanics. The writer is Margarita Engle and illustrated by Raphael Lopez. Today's poem, based on the life of Mr. Felix Varela, and it's called Choosing Peace. My family's tradition is fighting. I am expected to become a soldier. By the age of 14, I know that I will never fire a gun or carry a sword. I do not wish to kill men, so instead I read, study, teach, and when I decide to become a priest, I preach against cruelty, speaking out in favor of freedom for slaves and freedom for the colonies of Spain. Demanding justice is dangerous. Forced to flee my homeland, I'm followed by an assassin. But when I speak to him of kindness, he listens, choosing peace. As an exile in New York, I become the priest at a church attended by survivors of the horrible famine that sent thousands of Irish families fleeing starvation, seeking refuge in the United States. I work hard to help Irish families build schools for their children, and I tend cholera patients, and I defend Irish American boys and girls against insults from mobs who hate them just because their parents are immigrants. Now, Felix Varela took a different path from his military family. As a teen, he knew he was different. As he said of his life, he said, quote, "My purpose is not to kill men, but to save souls." At a young age, he became a professor of philosophy in Cuba, and at that time, he then became a priest. Teaching philosophy, he also taught chemistry, physics, theology, and music. Felix Varela was recognized as Cuba's leading educator of his time. He spoke out for women's rights and the abolition, which means the end of slavery. But because of his views, the Cuban government charged him with treason, meaning they thought that he was trying to overthrow or betray the government, and they sentenced him to death. So Felix Varela escaped and made his way to New York. So he landed in New York City, and he did many things. First, he learned how to speak English, and he became a pastor in a place called the 5 Points. And there was a lot of people in the 5 Points. There were African Americans, Italians, and a lot of people from Ireland. But despite the racial problems, he defended immigrant rights, and especially of those of the poor Irish, who survived what is known as the Great Famine or the Great Hunger. He was also a writer, and he wrote many books and started newspapers. One he published, he founded, called the El Habanero, and he founded a church which still stands today, and that's called the Church of the Transfiguration. Felix Varela lives in legend today still. His name is on schools, post offices, and he even has a stamp that bears his likeness. So was there a time when you had to help somebody who needed help? Were you a friend to somebody in tough times? Well, be inspired by Felix Varela, who did the same thing and knew that, once again, his purpose was not to kill men, but to save souls. Thank you so much for coming to share a little time for our story time rather. Also, please visit us online if you have any questions or if you want to come visit the library. We are at www.plainfieldlibrary.info. And once you come to the webpage, it looks like this. Look for the doors to the children's library. You click on that. You know you're in the right place when you see the frog, okay? And there you can see all kinds of information and activities we have. Okay? So thanks once again for coming, sharing our story time. And until we see you again, take care. Bye for now.